Hi folks, here is the video we promised showing the workflow that we're proposing as is from the system. No programming required. And I'm going to walk through the Word document that I published previously. We'll show each transaction, and in between we'll take a quick look at the inventory summary so we can see the results of the transactions, and then at the very end we'll do a quick segment on some reporting. So again, click generate. You'll see here that we have no inventory in the building. Go ahead and start by receiving. My notes say that we receive everything against a docket number. So I'll scan my docket number, I'll scan my item, and the lot number. That went quite a bit easier than when I was trying to type all that in during the presentation. And the quantity I'm receiving against this docket of this item is 36 kilos. By default, it wants to put it in our receiving staging area, so we'll go ahead and accept that. We could also do a put away direct to ink storage, but I think you suggested you prefer to have it go to this temporary intermediate staging. It loops back up to collect the next lot of the same item. So if I had the same item to go, I could just press enter here and it would prompt me for the lot number. Save some data entry. Don't have to start over at the docket number or the item number. If I had to receive a different item against this same docket, I could just scan the item number right here at this point. That's why it comes up highlighted. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results, and you'll see that we now, in our receive stage 01, we now have a total of 36 of this item and lot. All right, picking up the inventory at the next step, which would be to put it away from the receiving staging area into ink storage. We do all kinds of validation, so you can't put away inventory that isn't there to be put away. You don't have to worry about doing something twice. If you're not sure if you did it, do an inquiry and check it, or just simply start the transaction again. You'll be warned. It starts out by asking me for the staging location to pull from, the item, the lot, how much. And to show you one of those errors, let's say I keyed in 37. I'm not sure if that'll be a scannable item for you. And you'll see that we get a message here that that's an invalid quantity. So I'll put in the 36. And then it asks me where I want it to ultimately end up. I'm going to say ink storage, and I'm going to put it all there. Having passed all the validation steps, I get the notice that the put away was successful. And when I go check the results, we'll see that our item and lot, our 36 of this item and lot, is now in ink storage. Okay, the next step is to move the ink to the press. We move it rather than pick it, because when we move it, we move the entire quantity is transferred to the press. That allows us to pick the amount that we want to use against our docket and move the remainder back to storage. Like the put away, I start with my from location, my item, the lot number of that item, and the quantity. Last thing is the to location. Just like in all our other transactions, we do all the normal kind of validation steps. If it passes, you get the move successful message. And when we refresh our inventory summary, we now see that our 36 kilos are at press 1. Okay, the next step is for me to pick ink against my docket. I start by scanning my docket number, scan the item, and it wants to know the quantity that I'm going to require for this pick. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to pick 30 of my 36 kilos, so I have 6 left to return to stock. It tells me that the suggested location is press 01. We're going to have to talk through if you want to move that up higher so that you tell me the press you're at, and then I only look for inventory at that press. But the way it works right now, it's going to show me inventory that's available for this pick. So for instance, if that's at press 02, I would then ask for the next location until I saw my press. But I want to show you what's possible without any modifications. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm the press that I'm at, the item, the lot number, and then lastly the quantity. This tells me here that I picked everything that I had originally asked for. If there had been multiple lots involved, perhaps I would have said I want 30, but it would have asked me to pick 6 of a partial and then 24 of another lot. So this is kind of sets your pick up for what you want to do, and then this confirms that you've completed it. I think Tom mentioned that there's a countdown function in some of their work, and that's really what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and generate the inventory report. And now we'll see that the only amount of ink we have for that item is we have this one lot, we have 6 kilos left, and it's at the press. That's because the picking consumes the ink involved. The last step is to move the unused ink from the press back to ink storage. Now there's a couple of things that went unspoken there. I'm working from the assumption that I had 3 containers of 12 kilos each. I used 2 full containers and half of the third one to get to my 30 kilos. So what I'm about to move back is 6 kilos, and that part's simple enough. The question is, how does the press operator notify people downstream from him or her that this is a partial container and how much is left in it? I see 2 choices. We could add a relabeling function that as it goes back to stock, we put a new label with a new quantity on there, or it could be as simple as striking it with a Sharpie, striking the old quantity and putting the new quantity on there by hand. We'll have to give some thought to that. But the basic transaction, I start with my from location again, the item, the lot number, the quantity, and again, I cannot move more than is available. And where do I want to, where's my to location? In this case, it's going right back into ink storage. Move successful. And we see that that remaining 6 kilos has moved back to ink storage. Okay, let's take a look at the transaction report for today for this item. And the transaction history report shows the last thing that happened at the top. So by going down to the bottom here, I can see the first thing I did was receive 36 kilos against my docket number. particular item and lot into rec stage. I then moved those 36 kilos from rec stage to ink storage. Then I moved them to put away, it's a specialized move. Then I moved them from ink storage to the press. And then I picked 30 of those kilos from the press location. And the last thing I did was move the remaining 6 from the press back to ink storage. So what I know is that against this docket number, I have consumed 30 kilos of this lot of this product against this docket. This is the base for your lot traceability. I could also have done this just by lot number, and that'll be more meaningful when I do the next transaction set, which I am going to move through a little bit more quickly because it is redundant to what I just did. However, it will show multiple lots of the same ink going against the same docket, and then we'll see how we report that. Okay, I have another docket which requires the same ink, and Sun delivers 3 more 12 kilogram containers. I need 30. So I start by putting in my docket number, then the item, then the new lot, and my 36 kilos, and I receive it to the staging area. Take a quick look at the inventory summary. And now we see that we have 2 different lots. We have 6 that I returned to press from the last job, a lot ending 600, and my 36 new kilos that are in receiving staging. Let's go ahead and put that away in ink store. Put away is successful. And we see the results in the inventory summary. Okay, now it's time to move my ink to the press. Again, we move it and don't pick it at this stage because we want to keep the the inventory is still available when it's moved, and it's consumed if we use it in a pick. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm pulling this from ink storage. It's the item I want, and I'm looking and I see a lot. I see a partial that says it's got 6 kilos remaining on it. My process is to rotate my stock, so I'm going to use that partial up. And I'm going to send it to my press. I still need another 24 kilos. I'm going to pick the new lot here, and because it's in 12 kilo containers, I'm going to go ahead and just take 2 of those and move that to the press. Move is successful. Let's go ahead and take a look at my inventory status now. So now we see that I have 3 records. I have 12 still remaining in inventory of the new lot, and then I have 6 kilos of the original lot and 24 kilos of the new lot to my press. Now it's time to pick that ink at the press that's delivered to the press against my new docket number. And as before, I set the stage that I need 30 kilos. And it suggests my partial. Validate that I'm at press 01. The item. The lot. And this is my quantity. And now it's suggesting that I take 12 from the ink storage location. That's not what we want to do. That's one of the tweaks we can talk about, but it's so simple just to override it. You can always tell the system, as long as the product is really there, you can always tell the system where you're taking it from and override that. You'll see the screen refreshed as soon as I said press 01 to show different quantity and different lot. So, item, lot, 24 kilos, all quantity picked. Let's go ahead and take a look at our inventory summary. And because the picks are consumptive, you'll see that the only ink left in the building is the 12 kilos of the newer lot that was received early on in this process. Okay, let's take a look at the reporting. There are 3 basic reports. There's the inventory summary report that we've been working very extensively, transaction history, and item history. These are 2 pretty similar looks at the same data. Transaction history gives me more filters. So, let's start with an unfiltered report. Let's say that you're doing a recall on a particular lot number. Let's take that original lot because it goes across, it's on more than one docket. So I scan the lot number and let's pop the report up. So here's what the transaction history of everything that happened with that lot. So it's got the receipts, the putaways, the move to press. It kind of gives you a good audit trail of what happened and when it happened, right down to the second. But let's say you specifically just want to know what was issued against dockets. So I can put in a filter for just the pick transaction. We run that report. And now I see that that particular lot number was used in 2 different customer orders. Docket 130 and docket 140. Dates, times, who issued it, all that kind of information is available. Item history, as I mentioned, is very, very similar. A little less detailed. I can't put all those filters. A little bit different sequencing. This is the oldest thing in your date range is on top, and it works its way down. So again, it's the same information, just a little bit different view of it. So I hope you can see we didn't change a line of code. This is the system as it's written. You have all of the basic transactions I need to accomplish the workflow that I laid out in the Word document, and hopefully this is a little more meaningful to you seeing it in video format. Please feel free to call with any other questions or concerns. Looking forward to working with you folks. Thanks again for listening.